Most men think getting a woman's number is about having the perfect pickup line. But here's the truth. The moment you ask for her number is usually not the moment she decides. She decides much earlier. She decides based on how the conversation feels. Did she feel comfortable? Did she feel respected? Did she feel like she was talking to someone genuine? Because the biggest mistake most people make is trying too hard to impress. They search for the magic words. But attraction and connection don't come from a rehearsed sentence. They come from creating a moment where someone enjoys being around you. And today you're going to learn 10 conversation starters that make conversations feel natural, interesting, and memorable. Not because they are tricks, but because they work with basic human psychology. So if you've ever wondered how to start a conversation with a woman without feeling awkward, stay until the end. Because the last few conversation starters are the ones most people never think about. Think about the last time you met someone new. Maybe it was at a coffee shop, maybe it was at a friend's gathering, maybe it was somewhere completely unexpected. You noticed someone interesting. You wanted to say something, but then your brain started creating problems. What if she thinks I'm weird? What if I say the wrong thing? What if she's not interested? And suddenly, the simple act of starting a conversation feels like a huge challenge. But here's something important to understand. Most women are not waiting for a perfect opening line. They are paying attention to something much simpler: your energy, your confidence, your ability to create a comfortable moment. A good conversation does not start with trying to prove your value. It starts with curiosity. When someone feels that you're genuinely interested in them, they naturally become more open. So let's look at the conversation starters that can help you create that connection. Number one, ask about something around you. One of the easiest ways to start a conversation is to talk about something that is already happening. Why? Because it feels natural. It doesn't feel like a performance. For example, imagine you're standing in line at a coffee shop. Instead of walking up and saying something forced like, "You're beautiful, can I get your number?" Try something connected to the moment. You could say, "Have you tried anything here that's actually worth ordering?" Simple, relaxed, easy to answer. The psychology behind this is called situational comfort. People feel more comfortable when a conversation has a clear reason to begin. You're not interrupting their world, you're simply sharing the moment. And that small difference can completely change how the conversation feels. Number two, use genuine curiosity. People love talking about things they care about, but many conversations fail because people ask boring questions. What do you do? Where are you from? How old are you? These questions are not wrong, but they often feel like an interview. Instead, ask questions that create stories. For example, what's something you've been really enjoying lately? Or what's something that always puts you in a good mood? Notice the difference. You're not just collecting information, you're inviting her to share a part of herself. And when people share personal experiences, they often feel more connected to the person listening. That's why curiosity is powerful. It shows you're interested in who she is, not just what she looks like. Number three, give a thoughtful observation. A simple observation can be much more effective than a generic compliment. Why? Because it shows you're paying attention. Instead of saying, "You look nice," which she may have heard many times before, try noticing something unique. Maybe she has an interesting book. Maybe she has a creative style. Maybe she's doing something that shows personality. You might say, "That's an interesting choice. I'm curious, what made you pick that?" The key is this: don't just notice appearance, notice personality. People remember feeling understood, not just being noticed. Number four, ask for an opinion. Here's a psychological secret. People enjoy conversations where their thoughts matter. Everyone has opinions, everyone has preferences. So asking for an opinion creates an easy opening. For example, "I need an honest opinion. Which one would you choose?" Or, "What's your take on this?" It creates participation. Now, the conversation is not you trying to impress her. It becomes a shared interaction. And shared interactions create comfort. A lot of men make the mistake of talking too much because they think they need to entertain. But confidence is not talking constantly. Confidence is creating space for another person to join. Number five, use playful curiosity. A conversation becomes memorable when it has a little personality, not forced jokes, not trying to be a comedian, just a little playfulness. For example, "You seem like someone who has a very strong opinion about this, am I right?" Or, "I have a feeling you're either really organized or completely spontaneous." Then smile and let her respond. Why does this work? Because it creates a small moment of discovery. The conversation becomes more than basic information exchange. It becomes a fun interaction. But remember, playfulness should feel respectful. The goal is connection, not making someone uncomfortable. Number six, share something about yourself. First, Here's something many people misunderstand. Good conversations are not built only by asking questions, they are built through exchange. If you only ask questions, it can feel like an interview. Instead, offer something small about yourself. For example, I recently started trying new coffee places because I realized I always order the same thing. I'm trying to become more adventurous. Then ask, what's something you've recently tried? Now you've created a bridge. You shared, she shares. The conversation moves naturally. Psychologically, people often mirror openness. When you reveal something small and authentic, it gives the other person permission to do the same. Number 7, ask about experiences, not facts. Facts are forgettable. Stories are memorable. Compare these two questions. What's your favorite place versus what's a place you visited that you still remember? The second one creates emotion. It brings someone back to a moment. Maybe it reminds them of a trip, a childhood memory, a funny experience. Humans connect through stories. That's why the best conversations are not just about information, they are about emotions, and emotions create stronger memories. Number 8, find common ground. One of the fastest ways to build comfort is finding something you both relate to. Maybe you both love the same type of music. Maybe you both enjoy similar hobbies. Maybe you both have the same opinion about something small. When people discover similarities, the brain naturally creates familiarity. It starts thinking, no, this person understands me. But don't force similarities. Authenticity matters. If you pretend to like everything she likes, people can often sense it. Confidence means being comfortable with your own identity while discovering someone else's. Number 9, transition naturally toward getting her number. Now comes the part many people overthink, asking for the number. They build it up like it's a major event, but it doesn't have to be dramatic. So, if the conversation is flowing, keep it simple. For example, I've enjoyed talking with you. We should continue this conversation sometime. Want to exchange numbers? That's it. No long explanation, no pressure, no desperate energy. The confidence comes from being comfortable with either answer. Remember, a number is not the goal. The goal is creating a positive connection. The number is simply the next step. Number 10, leave her with a positive feeling. This is one of the most overlooked parts. People remember how you make them feel. Before ending the conversation, create a positive moment. Maybe you say, I'm glad I came over and started this conversation. You seem really interesting. Simple, genuine, memorable. The human brain naturally remembers emotional experiences. That's why a short conversation with the right energy can stand out more than a long conversation with no connection. Now, here's something important. Getting someone's number is not about convincing them. It's about creating a comfortable interaction where both people enjoy the moment. The biggest attraction killer is pressure. When someone feels like they are being judged, chased, or pushed, they naturally create distance. But when they feel relaxed, respected, and appreciated, connection becomes much easier. So focus less on finding the perfect words. Focus more on becoming someone who brings a positive experience into someone's day. Because confidence is not having every sentence planned. Confidence is trusting yourself enough to have a real conversation. Before you go, remember these 3 things. Be curious, be authentic, be comfortable with the outcome. The best conversations are not created by trying to impress someone. They are created by being genuinely interested. And sometimes the person you almost didn't approach could become one of the most meaningful connections in your life. If you enjoyed this psychology-based breakdown, make sure to subscribe for more videos about communication, confidence, and human behavior. And comment below, what is the hardest part for you when starting a conversation with someone new? Your answer might help someone else who is struggling with the same thing. See you in the next video.